One of the most common questions asked by experienced and new aquarium owners is how to fix cloudy water in a fish tank. Firstly, the good news is cloudy water isn't always going to be an emergency. Such a large variety of things can cause cloudy water. So today I'm going to be going through why your water is cloudy, how to fix it, and what it means for your fish. If you have any questions regarding this topic, please be sure to comment it down below, or you can even shoot me an email that's attached in my About section. Cloudy water can come from two primary sources, biological or physical. The big fancy words can make this seem pretty complicated, but it isn't really. Biological has to do with the nitrogen cycle and bacteria colonization of a fish tank. I'll get to that in a second. Physical is the physical components. All that this entails is the substrate. Everyone from time to time forgets to wash out gravel. I do it all the time. Whenever setting up a fish tank, most people add a substrate. But this substrate is often sitting on the shelf for a long time before it reaches the bottom of your tank. And being trapped in that bag makes for a lot of dust. If that stuff isn't rinsed the second it's added with water, it can cause an ugly, dirty look. I found this is especially present in sand or aqua soil as a substrate. When you get your substrate chosen, all you need to do is get a bucket, pour it into the bucket, then use a hose to wash the substrate. Or you can use a tap or a faucet for my non-Australian viewers. But I've decided that I always like to use a hose to wash out the substrate because you can control the flow more easily and mix the gravel around. I do this for about 10 minutes, and it's okay to have a bit of dirtiness in this gravel, just make sure to pour the leftover dirty water out. Now, add the gravel, but before you add the water, I always add newspaper pages over the top with a plate in the center of the tank. Or if you don't have access to newspapers like I did in this clip, you can add something like a plate, a saucepan lid, or even some driftwood into core. Something that when the water is poured on is going to break up and stream slowly down the edges. You can see that with this clean pour and doing this method, there is not a lot of debris mixing up in the water. However, we take a look at the other clips from before, where we just had the hose running in there straight, it just leaves a mess. But if you've already made this mistake and the water is dirty, it's just a simple fix. Drain a bit of the water if it's cloudy and add some sponge filters and some clean brand new water. Make sure you rinse these sponge filters and clean them about every day or very regularly. This always works for me because the sponge filters, as you can see in the corner of the clip, blow air in and all the debris gets sucked up into this big sponge. You take the sponge out, squeeze it all out, but make sure it's in tank water. Then when you add it back in, all the debris will be gone and collect again, and over time this will remove lots of the cloudiness from the water if it is from the gravel and the physical components. Now for the biological cloudiness, this is caused by the beneficial bacteria in your aquarium. Many people who are new to the hobby don't actually realize what this process is and why it's so important. The nitrogen cycle in the aquarium is very complex and has many factors, but in a nutshell, it's bacteria that grows in your fish tank. This bacteria grows on your filter media, your gravel, decor. This nitrifying bacteria eats ammonia, breaking it down into less toxic forms from ammonia to nitrite and then nitrate. This is why it's important to have filters, because when the water passes through the filter media, it gets caught in the wool and all the components where the nitrifying bacteria live. They eat the ammonia, they break it down, and then your fish tank is safe for your fish. But when you start a new tank, everything you normally have is off whack. Very soon when water is added to the tank, microscopic organisms begin to take over and develop. Soon after these little organisms come, so do the nitrifying bacteria. These organisms are usually transferred from plants, fish, or already colonized items added to the tank. This can include stuff like Infusoria or Daphnia. In this new aquarium, everything is in a constant scramble to take over and control the tank. When a tank is finished and cycled, these bacteria and organisms strike a balance and are most importantly stable. Both bacteria and microorganisms can reproduce and take over as much as they want, but eventually they die down to a level where they can sustain themselves. This has to do with how much ammonia or food they have left, and that's why when you cycle a tank, you need to have something for them to eat. Whenever I set up a tank, I always find it helpful to dummy feed. That's when you feed it as if there were fish in there, once or twice a day, however much you would normally. This ensures that everyone in the tank can establish the size they need, and you can also add in a bit of meat, or even better, if you have one, a dead fish. This kickstarts an aquarium great. If you have an aquarium cycling as of right now and it's cloudy, don't stress, this is normal and that's the complete reason why. Well, what if I didn't cycle for the recommended time? What if I added fish the same day? Well, the aquarium has the same reason to be cloudy as an unfinished aquarium. The fish poop or fish food started to make the tank pick up with bacteria. If that's the case, get the fish out of the aquarium and into an established one or somewhere that has safe aquarium water. The problem with an uncycled tank is that the water concentration and chemicals are all messed up. Ammonia, nitrite and nitrate readings can be all over the shop, as well as inaccurate pH or GH readings. Not only this, but the fish waste cannot be safely broken down for the fish, and for the fish not to suffer, it's best for them to be removed. Fish in conditions such as these get stressed, sick, and can be burnt. Now that you know why you have cloudy water, you want to know how to fix it. As mentioned before, cycling is key. What if I cycled my tank and the water was cloudy? Well, this means you didn't cycle for long enough or you have way too many fish. To speed up cycling, you can add in already established tank water, plants, gravel, wood, and rocks. But most importantly, using established filter media can help speed up a cycle significantly. Just don't be impatient. It's better to wait a couple of weeks than to stuff everything up. Once your tank is finally finished, don't go and buy all the fish at once. I know it can be tempting, but this is another common mistake. Fish tanks don't ever really fully cycle. For bacteria to colonize everything, you would have to wait at least a year or a few more. This doesn't mean it isn't safe, it just means that the bacteria is a slow growth. So, over that 4 to 6 weeks, if you dump 10 to 20 fish in, it could be the same as dumping fish in an uncycled tank. So for bacteria to safely adapt, I always add my fish in by species. I went 2 angelfish, 3 catfish, 6 cories, 6 tetras and 6 coolie loaches. They were all added over a year. Now, you don't need to go that slow. I did it because I don't have access to an LFS constantly. I would recommend adding one species about every 2 weeks to a month, depending on tank size. Smaller tanks can't handle larger fish doses like larger tanks can. To get on top of this cloudiness, it's always a great idea to regularly test the water in your aquarium. And you can buy water test kits at your LFS, or you can even bring some into your shop for them to test for you. Shameless plug here, but if you live in Australia, you can visit www.southwestaquatics.com.au and buy a 50 or 100 pack of test strips that are easy to use and work in seconds for just under $10. They work great and are accurate to help you maintain a healthy fish tank. Overall, many people, including myself, will see a cloudy water fish tank and assume something is wrong, but that is rarely the case. Just make sure to take the proper precautions and follow my steps to resolve your water. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, please be sure to subscribe for some more fish keeping tips. The comment of the video goes out to Geratos is the best drink. Leave your comments down below for a chance for a shout out next video. Thanks everyone, stay safe, bye.